Hello, everyone. Today is day 42, I think, of learning Spanish. And today is a special day. I've been thinking over the past day, and I've been thinking I need to brush up on my Chinese, right? This is a language channel. So, although I am sticking to Spanish for the most part, just because uh, that's sort of where I've started, I'm gonna come back to my Chinese a little bit because I figured that with my new method of learning Spanish, which is the memorization process, I've noticed that I could probably benefit from that method with my Chinese practice. So basically, over the next 30 days, well, I've been thinking, and this I want to say this so I can implement it. Over the next 30 days, I want to be really, really strict, right? Really intense. Feel like this intensity is something new that I haven't really had much experience in since my learning methods in the past have been so passive and casual. That it's exciting me quite a lot. So I'm not only going to be memorizing, um, you know, the articles that I've written down for Spanish, but I'm also going to be doing the same for Chinese. Now, I noticed the differences between the two languages in term um, the differences between the languages make my method vary slightly. So in Chinese, I don't need to memorize part B of the stories, right? The part B of the stories is just from a first person perspective. But I don't need to memorize that because not many words and verb conjugations, the grammar is actually quite easy in Chinese. It doesn't change, right? It's basically the exact same story. The only thing different is saying instead of him, it's me, right? But of course, in Spanish, you have fuck knows what words change within that paragraph, right? So you have to get used to those changes. So I still think it's very important for me as a Spanish learner to be memorizing part A and B every single day. And I think for Chinese, just part A will suffice, right? Um, so that's sort of what I'm going to be doing from now on. So I have an I have an HSK 5 Chinese exam that I need to sit in April. So although this probably won't help my HSK exam skills, it'll still be interesting to, what the point is that I got to keep my Chinese up. I got to keep it up to date, you know, and I think that this method could really, really work in terms of help me speaking. My Chinese comprehension is not terrible. I can understand a lot, but then when it comes to responding back, I often find myself speechless. So yeah, probably could help. So I'm gonna get into, well, firstly, I'm going to read out to you what I've memorized today for Spanish. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm just going to read a little bit of Chinese so you guys sort of get the idea of what I might be doing. But, ideally I would have memorized that by now, but I haven't quite had time today to do that. So I'm just going to read it out to you instead for the moment. Anyway, just so everyone gets a gist, including myself. But let's start with Spanish. Karen está aburrida en el trabajo y en casa. Uh, Hace lo mismo todos los días. Quiere un nuevo pasatiempo. Primero intenta comenzar, pero su comida no sabe bien. Entonces intenta nadar, pero, ah, pero le da miedo el agua. Karen ah, camina hacia casa y ve una tienda de mascotas. En el tienda de mascotas ve un gato. Karen compra el gato. Ahora está muy contenta. There we go. Wasn't very good, but it never really fucking is, to be honest, because yeah, I just memorize it and then just sort of try my best to think about it. But that whole thinking process is funny because it's like that's a it takes a lot of focus, and I'm someone who does actually get distracted quite frequently. So focusing that hard is it doesn't even take a very long time, but it's just so intense in terms of the effort that you're putting in. You can't even a single thought comes into your brain and then you forget shit. So Anyway, that's the third story. I'm gonna read. Actually, am I? Am I gonna read that? Because I notice when I flick pages. Um, oh yeah, that still works. Um, in Chinese. I sort of memorized one of these stories. So I'm looking at my computer right now. I've sort of memorized the first story also. Let's see how this works. Okay. Okay, I'm going to see if I can memorize it, but I might not be able to. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to close my eyes. Okay. 麦克是个厨师。麦克每天早晨6点起床。fuck it up。6点起床。他先做早餐，然后喝一杯咖啡。接着开车去上班。他早上7点半开始工作。他在一家餐厅做厨师。他为肚子饿的顾客做饭。这些顾客来自很多国家，他们说着不同的语言。麦克可以遇到很友好的人。与这些顾客聊天，他感到很愉快。Bang, there we go. All right. Fuck yeah. All right. Spanish and Chinese memorized in one day. All right, guys, let me know how it went. And let me know maybe what I should be doing. Maybe this method's really fucked up. So, yeah, just let me know, guys. Appreciate everyone still watching. And even if you're not, that's fine. Because I'm just going to keep going. So, cheers.